Hello there guys, what is going on? SonOfChelsea back here again for another edition of Let's Talk Chelsea. Hope you're doing well and keeping safe on this Thursday. In today's news video, reacting a bit more to last night's game, Wesley Fofana, a massive injury update regarding him and the coming weeks and to see how long he's going to be out for after last night, and Reece James, just basking in the brilliance of Reece James. I think that is absolutely something we have to be doing in this news video today. But before we get into any of that good stuff, I want to ask you guys, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of the uploads on the channel. And if you're feeling good, feeling positive after Chelsea's performance last night, give the video a like because it helps new people find the channel as well. Before we do get into Fofana, because there's some big news around that breaking today, just do want to pick up sort of two tweets that came out last night from the game. Expected Chelsea here, noting that last night was the first time Chelsea had scored 3 goals at home since the FA Cup win over Chesterfield on January the 8th, which is almost exactly 9 months ago, which is just staggering really, and how kind of poor it's been at times. I mean, it's not that shocking. Chelsea, particularly under Tuchel, didn't score a lot of goals, and when we scored 3 it kind of felt like Christmas, and it kind of shows where we need to improve and have to improve, particularly at Stamford Bridge. But hopefully we see a bit more of that. And Scouted Football here kind of referencing the Cobham influence on last night's display. Reece James, Mason Mount, Conor Gallagher, Trevor Chalobah and Ruben Loftus-Cheek all on the pitch for Chelsea in the UEFA Champions League game. All homegrown players produced by their Cobham Academy. You also have to add Armando Broja to that list. He came on and I think replaced Mason Mount in that second half as well. So really positive to see. Parallels to Juve, because there was obviously a lot of Cobham influence on that game against Juve last year, so really good to see. But let's start off with, I think, the big news of today, and that is Wesley Fofana. He came off injured last night. Unfortunately, it was kind of the one big negative from the game, and I referenced the parallels to Juve. And it was kind of sad that it was worrying me before this news came out, because if you remember last year, the one negative of that Juve performance was Ben Chilwell going down injured. And it was kind of a bit of a sliding doors moment in Chelsea's season, because the next day we got the news that he was likely going to be out for the rest of the season with an ACL injury. That's what it turned out to be. He had to have surgery around January time, and there was kind of worries with kind of an injury like that. It was close to a player, but when he lands like that and the way he was looking walking off the pitch, and he I think Nazar Kinsella tweeted after the game that he walked off in crutches. We got reports this afternoon from L'Equipe in France that it looks like it's just a knee sprain, and it's only going to be about 4 weeks, which is a real positive. Obviously not for Fofana, who scores his first Chelsea goal last night. We've got a lot of games coming up, so he is going to miss a lot of games if it is a month, given the period before the World Cup, and it kind of ends his hopes probably of going to the World Cup with France. But I had real concerns, I think a lot of us probably did, of that Chilwell incident and this being a really long-term injury, considering as well you got to factor in Fofana had a long-term injury last season that really derailed his progress, and of course coming to a new club, wanting to have a new start and really grow and develop in his career. It's a knockback, it absolutely is. I don't want to sort of be cruel, sort of dismissive to Fofana, because obviously it is a knockback and hopefully he can recover as quickly as possible. But maybe for someone like Trevor Chalobah, as we saw last night, this is kind of a route into first team action for him. The knock-on effect in kind of how Graham Potter's going to shape the squad and the defence in the coming weeks, because Fofana and Silva played as a back two against Crystal Palace. Would that have been a back two that we saw consistently in games with Chelsea in the Premier League? We'll have to wait and see when Fofana returns, but hopefully it's a speedy recovery. And if it is only 4 weeks, which it seems like it is, I think a bit of relief. As I say, it's a knock. It really is. It's particularly for a player like him, who I think he's going to be a big player for Chelsea that we've invested a lot in. Let's just hope he can get back quickly and firing again, because last night that goal was such a lovely moment personally for him. And it could have been a lot worse. Listen, it's not good, but it could have been a lot worse. But let's talk about Reece James. The brilliance of Reece James, so much to speak about. Adam Newson was, I think, in the mix zone with Trevor Chalobah last night and interviewed him not only about his performance, but Reece James. And this was his post-match piece this morning. So a lot of James's teammates, I think, have been giving him praise. I know Aubameyang called him one of the world's best. best. Graham Potter in his post-match press conference said he could become a Chelsea legend. Thiago Silva as well. Reece has just been in incredible form. He really has. This is what Chalobah had to say after the game last night. He said, "We are lucky to have him. He is an unbelievable player who can do all sides of the game. He can defend, get us goals and get us assists. It's a pleasure to play with him." And in reference to being one of the best in the world, he said, "Definitely. I've said it from day one. Right now, he could be the best in the world." Maybe not the best in the world overall, because there are some incredible players out there, particularly when you look at Erling Haaland, but particularly in his position, you can put him up against anyone at the moment. And with his numbers, with his importance to the team, with his all-round skill set, it truly is wonderful to watch Reece James. And if he stays fit, I said this, I think, at the start of the season, if he stays fit for a majority of it, I think he's going to be Chelsea's player of the season. And just in terms of his age, because it's easy to look at Reece's maturity at his age and what he's already done. He's got tons of experience under his belt. Only at 22, last night Opta Joe tweeting this, age 22, Reece James is the youngest Chelsea player ever to both score and assist a goal in the same Champions League game. So we are still talking about a player developing, and to think he's already at this level, the sky's the limit. And it shows the importance of that 6-year deal that he signed last month. It really does. Probably the best piece of business Chelsea have done in some time, because he has become essential. And I just really hope for his case he stays on form, he stays fit, because at the moment it's mesmerising, I think, at times watching him. And just, I think he had nearly 100 touches yesterday, and if you look at his heat map, he was right down that right side, particularly against an attacking talent of Rafa Leao, and to see how he grew in that game. And just, I also like the confrontational side of Reece James. If you've ever listened to him do interviews, very mild-mannered, he's kind of very laid back off the pitch, and doesn't speak, as maybe frankly as you'd expect given what you watch on the pitch of Reece James, but there is a fire when he goes on that pitch, and I just like that he almost at times wants to orchestrate confrontation. I mean, obviously I'm going to say that with being a Diego fan, but at the same time, I do like that side of Reece. I think Chelsea need a bit of it always, having some of that Costa spirit, and Reece is he's flying at the moment. Let me know your opinions on Reece and how far do you think he can go? What numbers do you think he can get this year? Because at the moment, given his performance, his all-round skill set, the likelihood he's going to be going to the World Cup with Gareth Southgate in that squad and probably playing a key role. It really is incredible at the moment, and another memorable moment and celebration at the Harding Lower. Hopefully we get more of those in the coming weeks. The final thing to speak about today, it's a little thing, but Chelsea, the worst kept secret, the most overdue and delayed and kind of known, kit release ever. The third kit has been released from Nike. Listen, we know what these kits are going to look like. I just found it, and my co-host on Every Other Sunday and my good friend Jay McIntosh, I think, tweeted it, because it was released, FIFA 23 was released before this kit was officially kind of released from the club, and they just kind of posted a video of the team walking out of Stamford Bridge in FIFA on the kit, and he just called it like the most tragic kit release ever, and I do agree with him. I have to say, if someone can send me the link, I don't think the kit's that bad. I actually think the kits they've done this year are quite nice all round. I like the second kit particularly, probably my favourite of the three. There's like a hoodie that the players are wearing. So if someone, like a zip-up hoodie that Nike have done in the colour of the third shirt, if someone has the link to that, please send it to me, because I think it's the best thing they've done this year, Nike. But yeah, let me know your opinions on the kit in the comments below. But that is it for today's news video. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch it. If you did enjoy it, as ever, please hit that subscribe button and a notification bell so you don't miss any of the uploads. Hit the like button and follow me on Twitter @SonOfChelsea, and I will see you again very soon. All the best.